Hello and welcome to Popular Technology, your source for information technology innovations and careers in science, technology, engineering, and math, better known as STEM. I'm your host, Sharon Morton, and we have a great show in store for you today with our guest, IT Hall of Famer and BDPA co-founder, Mr. Earl Pace. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
I love puzzles and figuring things out. There's no doubt that my love of video games and mystery books has brought me where I'm at today. My name is Amy Jones, and I'm a cryptologic technician in the U.S. Navy. Many people assume that we are only at war overseas. Our enemies don't just attack using tanks and ships. They're now using cyber weapons. A virtual enemy is now the real enemy, and it's very daunting to imagine how much damage one single person with a laptop can cause. My job is critical in protecting my shipmates. From my computer, I can touch a satellite in the sky, a ship across the world, or a computer in the desert. At the end of the day, a normal person will not realize I've done my job at all, and that's the way it should be. Cybersecurity is what we do, and it is a huge part of the 21st century Navy.
Popular Technology is brought to you by Oracle, Freddie Mac, HP, Cisco Systems, Sirius XM Satellite Radio, United States Navy, the United States Air Force, the United States Marine Corps, BDPAToday, and National BDPA.
And welcome back to Popular Technology. I'm Sharon Morton. Thank you for joining us. I'm here with Mr. Earl Pace, co-founder of Black Data Processing Associates, also known as BDPA, the largest national professional organization promoting excellence and diversity in the information technology industry since 1975. In addition to being active in all facets of BDPA, Mr. Pace owns Pace Data Systems, a full-service IT firm providing services to municipal and federal government agencies, as well as private industry. Mr. Pace, thank you so much for joining us here on Popular Technology.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Well, we're excited about having you here on Popular Technology, and you're a titan in the IT industry. Tell us, though, what inspired you to start BDPA? I mean, what was your vision for BDPA way back in 1975?
Well, I guess the driving force behind starting BDPA was it was an industry that was very young, and when it's young and immature, there's an opportunity to have an impact on it. I was a programmer who had moved just into my first management position and saw that I was getting constant attention from headhunters asking me for more positions, and my employees were also. And it appeared to me that here was an opportunity to have an impact in a growing industry where minorities, and particularly African Americans, could get in on the ground floor, where the demand for the skill level far outstripped the supply of people available to fill those positions. And you didn't have to have a PhD or even a bachelor's degree. You had to be logical, you had to have the attributes for it, and many corporations actually trained people for it. So by bringing together a group of professionals who could then shepherd and mentor people looking to enter that industry, and to make the community at large aware of what the opportunities were, and it was then the data processing industry. It's now information technology.
Yeah.
But we could have an impact on an industry that was certainly going to mature. And if you can get in on the ground floor, start determining some of the directions, you can have an impact on that industry, and that's what the intent was.
Well, you talk about a growing industry. How has BDPA grown? It's gone from your head in 1975 to a national organization.
I'd like to say that was my vision, but the truth of the matter is that I was in Philadelphia, involved in the financial services industry, and thought that it could have an impact in the immediate Philadelphia metropolitan area. It turned out that one of the guest speakers that we had at a BDPA meeting was from Washington, D.C. And after he made his presentation on security, said, you know, I really would be interested in doing something like this in Washington, D.C., you know, can I? And of course we said yes. Okay? And it's been all uphill since then. We now have got 45 chapters across the country, and we are you know, servicing people from 9 years old and 9th grade up to people who are CIOs and entrepreneurs.
Yeah, talk about children, kids. What kinds of corporate sponsors support BDPA and its motto, classroom to the boardroom? Because I love that motto. It's actually talking to an industry that talks to kids and gets them from the classroom to the boardroom. What kind of sponsors support you?
Well, you'll find that we run the gamut. The classroom to the boardroom has a couple implications to it. You know, not only do you train young people, but in training young people, you start giving the professionals, because we're an all-volunteer organization, and we do our own training, we do our own development. By training young people, the professionals and middle managers who are responsible for that training gain skills of their own. So that's where the classroom to the boardroom concept is. So we have corporate sponsors who are interested in just stemming or bridging the digital divide. So they're interested in, for our young people that we're attempting to bring into the industry, or at least make aware of it, all the way up to you know, federal government. You know, the United States Navy has been significantly involved with us recently because they saw the potentials that our students, not only from 9th grade, our youth technology people, our high school computer competition people, our college and high school IT showcase people, young professionals, all have something to deliver, and we're assisting them in developing those skills.
That's a great thing. And when we come back, we want to talk a little bit about how BDPA has helped to increase the number of minorities in today's IT and STEM workforce, because I know that's actually what you know, the mission of the organization is.
Exactly.
So when we come back after these messages, do you mind if we touch on that a little?
I'd be happy to.
Okay, great. So stay tuned for more popular technology.
Introducing the first laptop optimized for studio quality sound by Dr. Dre. Only HP has Beats audio inside, like this HP DV7T with built-in subwoofer. Get the ultimate gift for the music lover in your life at hp.com/beats.
I grew up in Hell's Kitchen. In one direction there was violence and crime, and in the other, the bright lights of Broadway. The first time I touched a piano, I knew which way I was headed. I poured my heart into every note of Empire State of Mind until it sounded perfect. And it kills me that people might not get to hear it the same way.
HP TouchSmart, engineered with Beats Audio. Finally, hear music the way the artist intended. Only on HP. Everybody on.
Welcome back to Popular Technology. We are having a great conversation with Mr. Earl Pace, co-founder of BDPA and also an IT Hall of Famer. So when we left for the break, Mr. Pace, we were talking about the role that BDPA has had in increasing the number of minorities in today's IT and STEM workforce. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, that of course is our raison d'etre, the reason that we were formed. We have a tagline, the classroom to the boardroom, which means that we attempt to develop people from the early stages right through their careers. And I think we've been successful at that. We're taking part in the Black Family Technology Awareness Week, where we start making communities aware of what IT is all about.
And when you say communities, you mean minority communities. You're wanting more African Americans, Hispanics in the IT industry.
Yes. You know, the objectives of BDPA has always been with a particular emphasis on African American community. But we're not just relegated to that. If you take a look at our students, you will see it is a rainbow. We have all types of people.
That sounds great. And tell me, what kinds of programs does BDPA have in place to motivate young people to consider a career in IT? Because a lot of times when folks think of IT, especially kids, they may think boring. So what do you do to get them interested and get them to commit to a future in IT?
As I kind of indicated, we do take part in the Black Family Technology Awareness Week, okay, where we do an initial kind of introduction to community as well as students. We start at ninth grade students. You'll find that every year at our conference we have a youth technology center where we bring ninth grade, 10th grade, even 9 years old. Last year we had a 12-year-old student who was an entrepreneur. And they're interacting with people from all areas in the IT spectrum, professional as well as CIOs.
Yeah, and I've heard that BDPA is starting to look at even younger children, because maybe the focus should not be on just high schoolers, but maybe elementary school kids need to see that there's a future in IT.
Yes, and we've done that. Last year we were in Philadelphia, and as part of our expo, we actually had a robotics area where we had very young students exposure to what robots were all about. One of our chapters does a lot with Legos. Which is an introduction to very young students that grabs their interest. You know, if they're playing a little game, but can see how it can translate into a potential career dealing with the information technology, you put that nugget of interest in there, and then you develop it.
Yeah, and speaking of robotics, that seems to be a really popular field that young people are pursuing. In the future, what role do you think robots will play in our everyday lives? Will they be in our kitchens cooking for us? I'd love that, by the way.
Well, I hate to tell you that they already are.
Oh, okay, I'm missing out.
Of course, you hear about the time where it is projected that we'll end up as a head in a box because robots and others are doing everything for us. But robotics is penetrating in all aspects of our life. We have cars now that park themselves.
Yeah.
We have planes that take off and land themselves. Right? So those aspects of robotics are involved in our day-to-day lives now. And of course it takes someone to program those, because a robot can only do what the human tells them to do.
Yeah, and kids are learning how to do that, programming robots at these robotic competitions, and they're really spirited competitions as well. So that's a really good thing to get kids in on the ground floor with robots.
They are, and our kids have been dealing with artificial intelligence for some time now. One year they did an artificial intelligence simulation of a teenager going to the mall shopping.
Wow.
Okay, so and I'm talking about 10, 12-year-old students. I'm not talking about college students.
And so this is the wave of the future, but let's go back to the past. In 1975, when you actually started BDPA, there were no cell phones, no PCs, iPods, or even microwaves.
Yeah, that's true.
And back then, could you have imagined, Mr. Pace, where IT would take us? And what do you see in IT's future?
No, I can't say that I knew where the industry was going. What I did know was that it was an ever-expanding industry and that there would be opportunities available. I'm surprised at what has happened in my own industry, and I think that BDPA has been involved in it, in all aspects of it.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
And we'll continue to do so. Originally we wanted to make sure we had an impact on the direction of the industry. And I can say we have had that.
Oh, you certainly have.
We have had that. We've gotten people into positions that they could not have gotten into before. We've oriented people into an industry that is interesting and very lucrative.
Well, speaking of impact, when we come back from these messages, we're going to talk about the impact of social media like Facebook and Twitter. So I know you have a lot to say about that, so you'll stick around, right? Good, and I hope you'll stick around too for more popular technology. We'll be right back.
Hi, John.
I was raised in this house, the youngest of 3. Hit the books every day, and hit these fields almost every night. Right here, I realized I was given all the opportunities, and I chose the most challenging one. I'm proud to protect my home and yours. My name is Captain John Williams. Detroit is where I'm from. A United States Marine is who I am.
The few, the proud, the Marines. Five oceans. 7 continents. Whatever it takes. Wherever it takes us. America's Navy, a global force for good.
Welcome back to Popular Technology. So we were talking to Mr. Earl Pace, founder of BDPA and an IT Hall of Famer, about the social impact of IT. And speaking of social impact, Mr. Pace, let's talk about social media such as Facebook and Twitter. What do you think is the future of social media? Will we see more of it?
I think definitely more. You know, the social media is a normal outgrowth of what's been happening in this industry. And I think we'll see much more of it because businesses will start tapping into this social media so that they can get to their clients and to their customers faster. They will need people who will be developing the access methods for them. So I think we've just seen the beginning, and I think it's going to explode.
Yeah, and I think businesses are already tapping into it. They understand that Twitter and Facebook means money because they're actually touching, like you said, their customers. And so touching their customers, let's talk about the average layperson. Now anyone can come up with an app, and the average layperson, they're submitting apps to Apple or Microsoft all of the time, and many are hoping to get rich. Technology is no longer exclusive to quote-unquote geeks. Do you see more lay people playing an even bigger role in the future of technology?
I certainly do. As a matter of fact, as I was driving here today, I was trying to determine an app that I could generate to submit. And I think it's going to be an increasing emphasis on that, you know, the geeks who are writing the operating systems are still there, but the super users, the people who actually use those tools, will enable them to generate apps that people want to use. And we'll see many, many more applications for both the Android as well as the iPad and the iPhone that are now starting to compete with each other. And more people will be able to use these tools in the gaming industry and the apps industry so that they can use the tools that the geeks have developed to now put a common face on the IT industry.
And a younger face.
And a younger face.
Yeah. So you were recently inducted into the IT Hall of Fame, and previous inductees include Michael Dell, Bill Gates of Microsoft, and Steve Jobs of Apple. How does it feel to be recognized with other IT royalty for your outstanding service to the IT industry?
Well, I'd like to think that it was because of my dynamic information technology acumen and abilities.
I'm sure it was.
But the truth of the matter is that it was an honor for BDPA. I've been in the industry for a long time, but it's BDPA that I happen to be fortunate enough to be one of the founders of that has had the impact on the industry. And I think that the induction into the Information Technology Hall of Fame was tip of the hat to BDPA, and I hope everyone recognizes that it is that organization that's had the impact.
Yeah. tip of the hat to BDPA and to you. And so that's why we're so honored that you're here with us on Popular Technology. And so tell us a little bit about where you see BDPA going in 5 years.
This industry is still on an upward trajectory. It still needs a vehicle and a platform whereby minorities, young people can have access and can be, their interest level can be generated in the industry. We can also start having some impact on the direction of the IT industry, and I think BDPA is in a position to do that. You know, we have some alliances with other trade organizations, with other corporations, and now with the federal government to have some impact on this industry, and I think that we're moving along in that area.
Well, Mr. Pace, it's been a pleasure having you on Popular Technology, and I certainly hope that you will join us again in the future.
It's my pleasure, and anytime you want, just send me a tweet. Well, It's been my pleasure to be here, and hopefully I've done what BDPA attempts to do and made people aware that the organization's there and our resources are there and open to everyone to have an entrance into this wonderful field of information technology.
Well, thanks again. And for more information on today's show, as well as the information technology industry, please visit our website at www.bdpatoday.org. Again, thanks for joining us here. Have a great day.
Popular Technology is brought to you by Oracle, Freddie Mac, HP, Cisco Systems, Sirius XM Satellite Radio, United States Navy, the United States Air Force, the United States Marine Corps, BDPA Today, and National BDPA.